Hello everyone, in this video we are going to see about the basic terminologies in data structure. We all know that what is a data structure. Data structure is a logical arrangement of data. The study of data structures includes the following three steps. Number one, the logical or the mathematical description of the structure. That means how to describe the data structure, how they are arranged, how they are logically connected, how they can be mathematically represented. All those things can be given in this step. Logical or the mathematical description of the structure. Number two, the implementation of the structure on a computer. So on the computers, how the structures can be implemented. That means how the operations can be handled. All these details can be done in this step. And third one, the quantitative analysis of the structure, which includes determining the amount of memory needed to store the structure and the time required to process the structure. So when you are making an analysis of the structure, we always worry about the time and the space. How much memory is occupied and how much time it takes to execute. So that is the quantitative analysis. Now let us see some examples of the data structure, and before that, the data may be organized in many different ways. The logical or mathematical model of a particular organization of data is called a data structure. The definition: the choice of a particular data model depends on two considerations. What are they? It must be rich enough in structure to mirror the actual relationships of the data in the real world. What does it mean is, suppose if we want to specify some data or we want to operate some data, so that data has some format in the real world. So is it possible to reflect the same thing in the data structure also as in the real world? So that is one consideration. And the second one is, the structure should be simple enough that one can effectively process the data when necessary. So the structure should be efficiently defined so that the process can be done efficiently both in the time sense and the space sense. Now we will see some basic terminologies. Data. What is the data? Data are simply the values or the set of values. A data item refers to a single unit of values. Data items that are divided into sub-items are called group items. Those that are not are called elementary items. So, okay, single data means one variable, like variable say A, B, C, like that. That is the single data item. When you say group items, like an array or a tree or a graph, so they have some collection of data in them. That is the secondary data. Then an entity is something that has certain attributes or properties which may be assigned the values. So what is an entity? It has some attributes or the properties we can assign some values. For example, you say a student is an entity. We can assign the attributes, the roll number, the name, the date of birth. They are the properties, and there can be some actions can be performed on those data. So when an entity then which has some certain attributes or properties is called as an entity. We can also assign some values. When you say a student has entity as an register number, we can put register number for those students. When you say an entity, a student has a date of birth, we can add values on the date of birth. That is the entity. Then the values themselves may be numeric or non-numeric. For example, when you are saying about the age of a student, it is a numerical data. When you say the date of birth, it has the date as a variable type. When you say the register number, it is a combination of numeric and non-numeric. So that is then alphanumerical data. Sometimes the name of the that is one type of data, and then non-numeric means fully alphabetic. The name of the students, the place of the student, or the college name of the student what he is studying. So that is the non-numerical values. Then entities with similar attributes form an entity set. So this is the definition of an entity set. The entity that has similar attributes is called as an entity set. Like you say the register number, set of similar attributes. When you say age, entity set. When you say date of birth, is an entity set. So each attribute of an entity set has a range of values, the set of all possible values that could be assigned to the particular attribute. And then the term information means it is the data with given attributes, or in other words it is a meaningful or the processed data. So here data is the raw fact. We say a number. For example, age of the student, that is a number. When you say it, you are giving the age of the student as a with the age as an field name, or we can add the age values, we can subtract the age values, and some meaningful terms can be assigned on that data, that is called as an information. And then there are a few more terminologies. A field. What is the field? A field is a single elementary unit of information representing an attribute of an entity. A record, a collection of field values of a given entity, and a file is the collection of records of the entities in a given entity set. Actually, here we have a file. File is the collection of record, and a record is the collection of fields. So here, for example, a student file. For a student, we have different field values: the register number, the name, the date of birth, the place, and the phone number. And now when you say a field is, register number is a field, phone number is a field, and then name is a field. So every individual elementary unit is called as a field. So collection of fields form the records, and the collection of records form a file. For example, a class file of students BSc Computer Science. So it will contain all the values of the students of all the 50 students of the class. Next one is, what is a record? Each record in a file may contain many field items, but the value in a certain field may uniquely determine the record in the file. Such a field is called as a primary key. For example, we consider the same student database as an example. So here, when you are talking about the student database, sometimes the age of the students in a class of a student, in a class of same class, the student have almost the same age group, but the date of birth are different, but even the date of birth may be same for some students, and some students the father's name may be same, and from few students the school they have come from may be same. So there are possibilities that there are same values for the different students, but when you are assigning a register number to the student, it is always unique. No two students have a same register number. So each student is identified by her own or his own register number. That type of value helps to uniquely identify the student. So that is called as a primary key. So in a record, there is a field, and that field has unique values for a particular student. So example is the register number. So register number for all the 1,000 students of a college or all the 10,000 students of an university may have different register numbers. That helps to identify the student. So that's why it's called as an ID. That helps to identify the student. So that is the primary key which helps to identify the student uniquely. And then the above organization may not be complex enough to maintain and efficiently process certain collections of data. For this reason, the data are also organized into more complex types of structures. So here, the organization means the arrangement of data. So the arrangement of data should not be complex. If it is complex, the process also will be complex. So it is necessary that the organization of a data should be perfectly done in a simple way so that the process can be done very efficiently. Now let us see some operations on data structure. The particular data structure that one chooses for a given situation depends largely on the frequency with which the specific operations are performed. Some common operations are. So when you say a data or data structure, it has some operations to be performed on it. For one such operation is traversing. Traversing means accessing each record exactly once. That is called as a traversing. Next one is searching. If you want to find out the student who has age is more than 20 or who has got 80% above the marks, so those is the key to search the particular student. So searching also can be done in a data structure in a file. And then inserting. Suppose a new student joined the college, we want to insert the student's name. That is the inserting purpose. Next one is deleting. Suppose a student leaves the college and he want to join somewhere else, so we have to remove the student's information. That is called as a deleting operation. And then we have the sorting operation, arranging the records in a given logical order. Suppose the students of any class is arranged in alphabetical order. This helps to identify the students in the sorting order, where the students can be identified by their names. So sorting is more helpful operation in computer science, where it helps to do a lot of post operations after sorting the given data. And next one is merging, combining the records into two different sorted files into a single sorted file. Suppose if you have two classes of data, class A and class B, I wanted to combine the students of class A and class B together. That is called as a merging. So when they merge, what will happen? The students of the class 1 and the class 2, or the class A and the class B, will be arranged in such a way that while merging, they also maintain the alphabetical order or some other order in the arrangement. That is called merging. So merging is simply combining two different files, and the resultant files will be in the sorted order. So these are all the operations in data structure. And then algorithm, these are all the terminologies in data structure we come across, simple terminologies. An algorithm, what is an algorithm? It is it's an finite step-by-step list of well-defined instructions for solving a particular problem. Suppose I wanted to do some operation, I will think the steps one by one. What are all the steps? So that the step-by-step operation that is used to perform a function or an operation is called as an algorithm. And how we analyze the algorithm can be compared with the other algorithms, or about the efficiency of the algorithms in between the different algorithms. So for example, we have an algorithm named M, and there are n is the size of the input data. The time and the space used by the algorithm are the two main measures of the efficiency of M. So when you say an algorithm is efficient, means it should take minimum time and it also occupy minimum memory space. That is the efficient algorithm. The time is measured by counting the number of key operations in sorting and searching the algorithms. For example, the number of comparisons, that is because the key operations are so defined that the time for the other operations is much less than or at most proportional to the time for the key operations. So for a sorting operations, we always compare the consecutive key values. So that is the main basic of a sorting algorithm. Or in searching also, we use the key values to search the whole data. So how much time it takes to search or sort, that is the time efficiency of the algorithm. And then about the space is measured by counting the maximum memory needed by the algorithm. So how many data are used, and how many data structures are used, and how much memory is occupied by each of the data. So that gives the memory complexity of the algorithm. Then frequently the storage space required by an algorithm is simply a multiple of the data size n. Accordingly, unless otherwise stated or implied, the complexity shall refer to the running time of the algorithm. That means when the algorithm is executed, how much time it takes for all the operations together, and how much space is occupies both for the input and the output values, all constitute to the time and the storage efficiency. So that's all the basic terminology.